Well, good Wednesday morning. So, any of you guys that are on my Facebook uh, profile probably saw that we had a bear come a few weeks ago and tore into my trash can. Actually, I had some hasps on it to hold the lid down, and he just tore one hasp off and got down into my big trash can and pulled out some garbage bags and made just a mess of everything. And then he went through the neighborhood doing the same thing to my neighbor's trash cans. And it's been, I guess, a few weeks since that's happened. I don't remember exactly, what the date was. But last night around 1:30, this happened. Okay, as you can see in the video, even though it's dark and kind of grainy, this huge bear come up through my driveway, made its way over to my trash can, and looking at the video, it looked like it ripped the trash can, which I have cable tied off to my retaining wall. It looked like it ripped it right off the retaining wall. I mean, the video makes it look like a lot more damage than actually was done. But he turned the can over, pulled a few things out, didn't even get a bag out. Mostly my security measures worked to keep him out of the can. He did get some stuff out, but the trash can looks to be pretty well intact, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. But I have a storage shed right next to the trash can, and that shed has never been vandalized by any creatures, and we've had a few try to get into it. But this bear, he stood up on his hind legs, as you saw in the video, and just ripped the door right off of the stupid thing. So let's just do the damage here. So here's the trash can, and you can see I've got it tethered off to the wall here. And if you look down, you'll see that my safety restraints, my chain that I put to hold the lid closed, that did stay closed. He didn't get into that, but he managed to get enough space in there that he could pull stuff out from, looks like one bag he might have got into out here. So it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but you can see the force he applied as he dug up the ground there under the can when he flipped that over. And here's our little storage shed. And it looks like it's fixable too. The little hinges on each end are still intact. So I'm just going to put that back together and figure out some way to secure this little bin that we keep our overflow garbage in. Anyway, great way to start out. It's a great way to start out a Wednesday morning. So we got most of the mess picked up and put our garbage cans back together and our storage building back together. And you can see there's not really any permanent damage. That building, the doors are held on with just a plastic hinge that's made into the door. And you can see where there's a little bit of damage right in here. And that's the little plastic hinge. This roof kind of moves a little bit. And you can see the dirty paw prints where he grabbed and just jerked the doors right off the hinges. But I'm amazing that this little lock I got on here is a tiny little carabiner. actually held up and kept the two doors together. But that was a real easy thing to fix. And then I've made some modifications to the can, so I've still got a little bit of work to do on it. So he has busted, the last couple times he's been in here, he's busted the lid here. You can see the damage here where it's cracking. This is real heavy plastic here. And on this side too, the handle's pulling loose a little bit. So I had this wire wrapped around the handle and then into the wall. So what I decided to do, I took this piece apart and I ran the wire through these grommets and back around, and then I pulled this as tight as I could and lashed it back down, so there's not going to be a lot of movement away from the wall. I mean, he can move it a little bit. And of course I've got my chain here. That's the last modification I did after the last bear attack, and it runs down and joins up together down here. Now I used to have them just together here with the carabiner. So what I've done now, I've run it down to one of those dog stakes that you screw in the ground. And what I'm hoping that'll do is, as he pulls on it, it kind of acts as a stop. So he's not going to be able to turn the can over, hopefully. And then I'm going to have to make a modification here around the place where he bit through, or whatever he did, clawed or bit through here once before. Because as you can see, there's still room for a paw to get in there. And you can see when I do that how that's affected that handle. So I'm probably going to drill a hole here and go into that lower piece down maybe at an angle or something, and have a bolt sticking up with a wing nut on it, with a washer and a wing nut, just to keep some pressure on that so that he can't pry that very easily. What I think is going to happen is he's going to end up breaking this completely free of the handle if he doesn't get, you know, feel like he's not able to get into the can and goes away and goes for an easier target. And I'm going to have to do the same thing on this side. Boy, you can really see all the, this is actually screw marks, but you can see all the bite marks from the original attack in here in the front. And there's actually wood underneath this that these things go in, so it's not just going into plastic. So I've got a 1/2-inch piece of plywood where each of these go through, a pretty good sized piece. So he's not just going to rip the plastic, and it's got washers on both sides. So it is reinforced. I'm just hoping to frustrate him a little bit. I know he's probably going to tear my can all to pieces before this is all over with. So it's Bear versus Man Part 3 coming soon. See y'all.